Oscar Piastri won the sprint in Qatar. He took pole position for both the sprint and the Grand Prix. He led the race from the start. He dominated the entire weekend. And when it was over, when he crossed the line in second place behind Max Verstappen, he had 2 words to describe how he felt. Pretty bad. That simple phrase captured everything about Piastri's weekend in Qatar. He did everything right. He was the fastest driver. He didn't make a single mistake. And yet he walked away without the victory, without the championship points he earned, and without any guarantee that his team will prioritize him when it matters most. The Qatar Grand Prix weekend belonged to Piastri from the moment he arrived at the Losail International Circuit. He secured pole position for the sprint race and delivered a commanding victory. Then he claimed pole position again for the main Grand Prix. When the race began, Piastri led from the first corner and controlled the pace with precision. Every lap reinforced what the timing screens already showed. He was the fastest driver on track. No mistakes, no hesitation. This was his race to win, and everyone in the paddock knew it. The race turned on lap 7, when a safety car was deployed. 18 drivers pitted for fresh tyres. Piastri and his teammate Lando Norris stayed out. Within seconds, both McLaren drivers knew the decision was wrong. Piastri came on the radio with one word: speechless. He couldn't believe what his team was asking him to do. The strategy failed immediately. Verstappen on fresh tyres hunted down Piastri and passed him on lap 21. The race Piastri should have won comfortably turned into damage limitation. He finished second. It was a strong result on paper, but it felt like a loss because it was a loss. He lost a race he had under control because his team made the wrong call. After the race, Piastri spoke to Sky Sports. His voice was flat. His usual energy was gone. "I haven't spoken to anyone, but feeling pretty bad, as you'd imagine," he said. "I don't really know what to say. Obviously, we didn't get it right with the strategy. I think the pace was very strong. I feel like I didn't put a foot wrong. It's just a shame to not walk away with the win." Those words reveal more than disappointment about one race. They reveal a pattern that has followed Piastri throughout his time at McLaren. He performs at the highest level. He delivers when it counts, and then something happens that costs him the result he deserves. When asked about the strategy decision, Piastri was careful not to criticize his team directly. "I left it in the team's hands to decide what the best strategy was," he said. "They have more information than I do. But yeah, that trailing, said everything. He trusted them. They had more data. They should have known better, and they got it wrong." The question then turned to papaya rules, McLaren's internal framework for managing both drivers fairly. Some observers wondered if the decision not to pit was influenced by a desire to keep things fair between Piastri and Norris. If they had pitted both cars, they would have needed to double stack, which might have cost Norris time and position. Piastri didn't buy that explanation. "I'm not sure today's decision was to do with that," he said. "I think we potentially just got it wrong, but I'll speak with the team." He was diplomatic and professional, but the message was clear. This wasn't about keeping things fair. This was about making the wrong call. Andrea Stella, McLaren's team principal, acknowledged the mistake. "First of all, we understand Oscar being extremely disappointed because, like I said at the start, he has done everything right." Stella told Sky Sports, "He's been fast, he's been solid, he's been consistent." Stella explained the reasoning behind the decision. "It was a decision. In fairness, we didn't expect everyone else to pit. There could have been a loss of Lando in pitting in case we're pitting both cars with a double stack. But effectively, the main reason was related to not expecting everyone else to pit. So, it was a decision, but as a matter of fact, it wasn't the correct decision." That explanation doesn't help Piastri. It confirms the team made a mistake. It confirms they were thinking about how the decision would affect both drivers, rather than simply making the optimal call for the race leader. And it confirms Piastri paid the price. The result dropped Piastri to third in the championship standings. He now trails Verstappen by 4 points and Norris by 16 points. With only one race remaining in Abu Dhabi, his title hopes are mathematically alive but realistically over. Norris only needs to finish on the podium to guarantee the championship. Piastri would need to win, have Norris finish outside the points, and have Verstappen finish lower than second. It's not impossible, but it's close. What makes this harder for Piastri is that he has been the faster driver recently. In Qatar, he outqualified Norris for both the sprint and the Grand Prix. He won the sprint while Norris finished fourth. He led the race while Norris ran third. If McLaren had executed the strategy correctly, Piastri would have won and closed the gap to Norris significantly. Instead, he lost ground. This isn't an isolated incident. This is the second consecutive race where McLaren has made a critical mistake. In Las Vegas, both cars were disqualified for technical violations. That cost Piastri 12 points. Now, in Qatar, a strategy error cost him victory and potentially another 10 to 12 points. The frustration for Piastri isn't just about the points. It's about the pattern. It's about doing everything right and not getting the reward. It's about trusting your team to make the right calls and watching them get it wrong. It's about being told you have equal treatment, but feeling like you're the one who keeps paying the price when things go wrong. The bigger question now is what happens in Abu Dhabi. Norris leads the championship by 12 points over Verstappen. Piastri trails Verstappen by 4 points. McLaren has a choice. They can implement team orders and ask Piastri to support Norris, or they can let both drivers race freely and risk Piastri taking points from Norris, which could hand the championship to Verstappen. Stella made McLaren's position clear. In terms of adapting the way we go racing, we just want to always keep the options open for both drivers, he said. They're both in condition to win the championship. I think we have to respect the fact that Oscar, he has his chance to win, and therefore we are going to let them race. That statement is admirable in principle. McLaren is respecting both drivers. They're not playing favorites. They're giving Piastri a chance to fight for the championship, even though his odds are slim. But from Piastri's perspective, it might feel like cold comfort. He dominated in Qatar and lost because of a strategy mistake. Now he goes to Abu Dhabi knowing that even if he wins, it probably won't be enough. And if he races Norris hard and takes points from him, he'll be blamed if Verstappen wins the title. Piastri tried to stay positive when asked about Abu Dhabi. Just drive like I did this weekend, he said. That's all I can do. It's more than good enough to dominate this weekend, and if I can do the same thing next weekend, then I'll be a happy man. But the tone suggested he wasn't convinced. He knows he can drive perfectly and still not get the result he deserves. Stella acknowledged that McLaren needs to be perfect in Abu Dhabi. We need to be perfect because the competition is so high, he said. If we are not perfect, we have seen this today. We have seen this in Vegas. We may miss opportunities. But for Piastri, that statement must ring hollow. McLaren hasn't been perfect. They've made mistakes in 2 consecutive races, and both times, Piastri has been the one who suffered most. The championship will be decided in Abu Dhabi. Norris has the advantage, Verstappen has the momentum, and Piastri has the speed but not the points. He'll go to the final race knowing he did everything right in Qatar and still lost. He'll race knowing that if he beats Norris, some people will blame him for costing McLaren the title. And he'll race knowing that his team, despite their words about equal treatment, made a decision that cost him a victory he earned. Pretty bad might be the understatement of the year. What do you think McLaren should do in Abu Dhabi? Should they let Piastri race freely or should they ask him to support Norris? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for our Abu Dhabi coverage.